True.
Okay.
Doopy 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 doopy
Pina
doo.
coladas.
Pina
And you wanna dance
coladas.
in the rain.
Hello everyone, welcome to the
Oh.
Flat Pack Show episode 8. You just heard the last bit of Corey Nerdwaffle singing away there.
I just started, honestly.
It was just like low-key energy, like Pina coladas.
That's how you gotta go into life, man. You just gotta go with you gotta drive 2 kilometers an hour through life, you know.
How are you guys doing anyway?
I'm doing all right, you know. Making it through the day, apparently.
What about you, Corey?
I'm just I'm here and just kind of doing the day, you know.
You've been working hard, constantly jackhammering and stuff.
Yep. No jackhammering today, but yeah.
For the people watching, Gemma's, my wife's still doing well. She's feeling unwell with her pregnancy, bless her. She's 13 weeks. I'm going to try and keep people sort of updated how things going until the birth, and then you won't believe what's come out of.
You know what you got? You got to do a live stream of it.
Oh God!
Just joking.
Live stream the
just joking. That's a bad idea. I just wanted to throw that out as today's bad idea. We should have that at every episode. We should have a today's bad idea or this week's bad idea because we only do it weekly.
This week.
This week, things you shouldn't do.
Things you shouldn't do or you should do. One.
I punched a bull today. Made
But you-
me feel good until he ripped me apart.
But you saying about you should live stream it reminds me of. Do you know? Right, here we are. Do you know the? I'm sure you've heard of the singer Robbie Williams.
Yes.
Not to be confused with Robin Williams.
No. Robbie Williams. He's a UK singer. Yeah. He was in. He did a duet with Kylie Minogue.
Yeah, that's it. His wife was giving birth. She was in labour, and he was trying to distract her pain by singing his own songs. He even put the song on the speakers, and she's like, "Will you shut the fuck up?" And he's like singing away his songs, and he started singing Frozen. I'm like, "Oh my God, you narcissistic prick, singing your own bloody songs."
I don't know if he was popular over here. I only have heard of him because he was in a song with Kylie Minogue, and it wasn't even really one of my. I don't know. I was a big Kylie Minogue fan in high school, I guess.
Yeah.
Or junior high school, whenever that was. And he was, I don't know, I had a crush on her too. And I saw the music video because I was watching like the top 10 or top 100 music videos or whatever on like Much or Much More Music or something. And I saw that music video and I was like, get your filthy hands off Kylie Minogue.
So I will definitely not be
Anyways.
live streaming the birth or anything like that. Oh, geez.
No.
I don't think that would be a very good idea anyway.
Yeah, that would be the worst idea you could ever do.
It's like, right, guys, yeah, fatherhood. She left me.
Trust me.
Taking the kids with her.
If you did that, that would be the last time you'd ever father children.
God.
So.
But
at least you're having twins.
Yeah, I mean, at least he's having, and he'll have the visitation rights. Maybe.
Yeah. Maybe. If Gemma's, she's nice.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Today we were meant to have a guest on. Today we were meant to have not Lev Gleason. His real name's Mark. But he couldn't make it, unfortunately.
He said he was busy working, so yeah, we'll try to have him on some other time. It's not a big deal.
Yeah, he's working on his second issue of Not Daredevil. Let's see if people can see on the screen here.
Mm-hmm.
Is this sort of a satirical take on the sort of the golden age, classic golden age of comics?
Yeah.
Because I'm trying. Which one of you was it that mentioned about Not Daredevil and brought it?
Maybe me.
Brought it to our attention.
Possibly me, because I think he sent me a copy or something. I haven't been able to read it yet fully. I've read some before today's show because I wanted to be up to date, but I've been super busy myself, so I understand when people get busy, and so yeah, I've read some of it.
So what happened? So what it is he's taking like the open source Daredevil comics and he's like writing a story over it as a satirical take, obviously. Now these old golden age comics had a lot of word bubbles. They were very, very wordy back in the day. I think he also like kind of uses that to his advantage to get a lot of like jokes in at once, or that's what it feels like at least.
So has he, apart from like the dialogue in the speech bubbles, is there anything else that he actually adjusts?
I think he photoshopped a few things here and there, but like
he photoshopped. What is it? He photoshopped. We were talking about it actually. The
Vegemite. Yeah, where is that?
Yeah.
I'll bring that up. It looked so silly, didn't it? But it was fun.
Like because he's photoshopped a few things in there. I think the idea was that because he's trying to change as little of the art as possible. Because again, these are open source comics, so he can use them, I guess, to his own degree.
Yeah.
Part of didn't he tell? I think he told one of us. I know it wasn't me, but he told one of us because somebody told me he was using these because it was easier to go use open source because he's not an artist, and so it's easier for him to Photoshop and do the word bubbles and stuff like that, and he doesn't really have the money to pay for an artist right now.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
But yeah, I think it's an interesting idea. It's funny, it's silly.
It's definitely a good way of get workaround kind of thing, sort of, instead of having to sort of wait for that whole process or whatever, you can just kind of get the ball rolling.
There we go. Does that fit on the screen a bit better now? Yeah, there we go. There's sort of a photoshopped in Vegemite. With them three out of the bloody way, I can crack on with me evil fucking schemes, mate. 3, we only killed 2. White man and white lady. If we find baby, we kill for more Vegemite. Is he like guzzling it down? Like, go.
You don't understand. His need for Vegemite is great.
I love these like old classic like adverts that you would usually find in the comics, like in between some of the pages. Like, the fine old pioneers. Vegemite is Australia's #1 import around the world, selling tens of units each year. Around the globe, from Perth to Paris, from Timbuktu to Woolloomooloo. Look, oh god, this is a bit. Would you say this is a selling point? Looks brown, smells brown, tastes brown.
I'd say it is.
It depends. I mean, if you're Australian, maybe it might be.
Free.
Nice.
This advert was not paid for. It was free.
Mm.
Oh god, Vegemite, the health food with the tantalising taste. Don't be a bloody savage. Eat Vegemite with every meal. Tastes better than white people, just about.
Jesus Christ.
But yeah, like if you guys are interested, Mark does have a Twitter handle there. If you want to follow him, he posts previews all the time on his Twitter. I think isn't it like just
At not left Gleason, yeah.
Yeah. We'll probably include the link in the description later.
Yeah.
If it's not there already.
Yeah, I'll put that in later.
Yeah, but just keeping in mind, like, again, this is just him kind of using the old Daredevil comics, like the open source ones. And I mean, like, there's a lot of things. I mean, like, hell, funny enough, those old Superman shorts. So the original Superman shorts, like talking about like comics that are in the open source or properties that are in the open source. So there was a Superman, the Flesher Superman, which is the old Superman animated series from back in the day. Really fantastic. So Max Flesher, the company, worked on these old Superman shorts back in the day. And they're all in open source now because they're that old. And so what's really cool is if you were to take ideas from that Max Flesher days of Superman, like the mythos from the Max Flesher days of Superman, you could easily do your own stories with that if you wanted to, provided that you're following like the rules and the regulations of Max Flesher's Superman. So like that means that you can't include certain things that are from like, certain things from comics or from that time period, but you can include anything from the Max Flesher era. So that's what's really cool about that. And like that's just something to think about, like, you know what I mean? The idea that you can definitely that because it's in the open domain now, and that's not the only thing. Like, I mean, the old Shazam comics are also in, or the old, not Shazam, but the old Captain Marvel, Shazam.
Marvel.
Yeah, those comics are also in open domain, and so like you could easily do those kind of like comics, and you could basically base stories on those things if you wanted to. And even if you do an entirely new idea with them, like that may not even use those characters at all, like you could still have a basis from those without any issues. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's what's really cool about that. And there's a lot to like study from those. You know what I mean? So I mean, it's a nice, easy way to get into the industry. I know that. I know a lot of writers. Hell, I mean, like Disney did it. They use like old nursery rhymes to do movies, to do some of their old movies. Like a lot of those, a lot of their movies are from old nursery rhymes and stuff like that. So.
Nursery rhymes and legends and tales. Lion King, I think, was an old play or based on some
Uh,
lore?
Well, they said Lion King is based off of Hamlet, but I don't know if it actually is. There's a lot of like talk of whether or not that's actually based on whether or not it's actually based on what's it called? Kimba the White Lion.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff has been coming out, especially recently with like the new live action version coming out. People have been bringing up that again, so it could be.
Peter Pan's based on James Barrie's work, and
I know Snow White's definitely based off of Snow White.
Yeah.
The actual
Cinderella.
There's Cinderella. Aladdin's actually multiple stories because it's based off of like multiple stories.
Arabian Nights and 40 Days and 40 Nights or something like that.
Yeah, like that one. That one has like, so that one's a more interesting one. The thing is, because like if you think about it, Aladdin is probably one of their more original works in a weird sense, because like they take multiple stories and they like mash them together. They have like Alibaba, 40 Days, 40 Nights. They have the Arabian Nights. They have like they have the story. They have like key story parts and they mix them together. So that one's a bit more original for them. You know, that one's actually surprisingly so.
And Star Wars Episode 8 is pretty original because there's no way in hell that's anything like Star Wars.
It's true.
Talking to Star, me and Gemma recently watched The Last Jedi. We finally got around to watching it.
Oh, so flat. Did you regret every minute of it?
There was some really cool bit, like the cinematography of like the locations were cool. I really enjoyed the planet of Crate with the salt planet with the red mineral underneath. That was really cool.
That was a cool landscape.
Yeah, and the casino planet was a cool idea as well, where all these people have sort of profited from the war.
I don't know. Like, okay, so I felt that the casino planet, sure, I mean, I guess it looked all right, but like that bothers me because it's like it doesn't feel like it fits. It just kind of feels tacked on as for the rest of the story. Like
it did feel like Ryan Johnson was like rich people bad.
Yeah, because like it just comes out of nowhere.
I did like the inner. I won't lie and say I hated every moment myself, but it was pretty bad. But like I did enjoy the Luke and Yoda part. I just wish there was some cool things in it. I just wish that those cool things had more structure behind them to be even cooler, or that the rest of them, because it's almost like he got a blip of common sense at certain points in the movie and it's like, maybe I shouldn't be a dick. Okay, put this in. No, I'm a dick. And then fucked it all up again.
I mean, I don't know, because I mean, like, my concern is okay, so my concern with the movie is like there's a lot of weird things that just don't make sense logically at all. Like there's a point where they take out the hangar bay. So you don't take out the hangar bay like of the enemy ship. Like, okay, so the villains come in, like the what are they called? The Empire? They're not the Empire.
First Order.
The First Order.
They're called.
Well, so there's a part in the movie. They're not the Empire. The First Order shows up and they take the Resistance and they use their power of the not Empire to destroy the hangar bay. This is like right before they kill Leia. And this is not a spoiler at this point. This movie's been thrown around forever now. So when they do that, then like the Order, like Hux literally says, "Oh, well, like roll back, bro. Like you're too far ahead. We can't give you cover fire." I'm like, no, why don't you catch up with him? You're like, he literally took out their hangar bay. What are they going to do? It's not like they can send out ships to like attack. And even if they could, let's say that they had a secondary hangar bay, they're at a disadvantage now. You literally took down about half their ships.
I'll tell you why, because they didn't have enough space fuel.
Yeah. Oh god, that bit where Leia gets blown out of her ship, right, and then she uses the Force to float through space and pull her nearer the door, and I could not believe it. Right, she opens the door, and it's directly into the corridor. And I said to Gemma, "Oh my god, Gemma, did you see that?" And she went, "Yeah, they'd be sucked out into space."
They should have.
They opened the door.
Had Leia. They didn't put Leia. So they wanted to save Leia because they wanted to show probably in the episode 9 that she had Force abilities, and they wanted to do it in 8 and whatever, and whatnot. They should have done that earlier in the film instead of that really weird power struggle thing that was not a power struggle thing, but was kind of, but wasn't. And they should have just did something there, and they should have showed Leia with powers. When she gets blown up, she should have actually got blown up and killed, because that would have added to Kylo Ren's character and be like the point of no return. And even if they wanted to save him later, they could even have Leia come back as a Force ghost, you know?
Here's another thing.
So here's my... They had a perfect scene where they could have gotten rid of her, because like Carrie Fisher's passed away. So, and that wouldn't have been a big edit to the movie, because she really doesn't do much afterwards anyway. So they were doing reshoots to the movie anyway, from what I understand. So like this would have easily been a fix during their reshoot. So that's the first thing. And it would have been an easy way to get Leia out of the movie. No offense or anything to Carrie Fisher. I love Carrie Fisher, but like, dude, take like, you had a chance, take that chance. Especially since at this point of the narrative, at this point, no matter what you get as a replacement for Carrie Fisher in the new movies, like, because you kept her alive, if you are planning to keep her, no one is going to like her as much as Carrie Fisher. No offense or anything to the new actor, but like, you can't, like, people don't like replacements. That's just the way it works. You know,
it bothered me with how they treated Admiral Akbar. They just kill him, kind of like he's dead. His ship got blown up. Like, he should have been the one that did the suicide, faster than light travel. You know, destroying all the First Order ships.
Yeah, he should have went down a hero. You know.
Yeah, instead it was Admiral Holdo. Another thing that bothered me was, right, so when Luke first tells like the half truth about Kylo Ren destroying the temple. And she then has that sort of Force across the galaxy mind Skype call. Right, so she calls him, "Oh, you're a monster," and then after finding out the proper truth, and she then still goes, "Oh, you can still be redeemed, Kylo. Oh, but you're a monster. I'm like, I thought Siths deal in absolutes, like. The Jedi always saw a good in everyone.
Well, except for Obi-Wan. Except for when Obi-Wan's just like, only a Sith deals in absolutes. Yeah. That's a fucking absolute right there.
I don't understand it. Also, okay, going back to the like Leia powers thing. So not even like Leia's power, just like taking a look at like proper scenes. So does anyone know, like, okay, I know, like, at least Nerd Waffle does because he studies cinema. Do you know what you know? And I think you have too, right, Flatmeister?
Yeah, I did film studies in college.
So in film, one of the key things that you're taught, if I remember correctly, is the setup, right? Like, you don't do something big until you set up for it. Is this correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, nothing big. You should. So yeah, you should. Really,
so that you'd have like a precursor scene, something that hints to a bigger scene that would happen, like, so
kind of, or leads up to. It doesn't have to be a hint, because it doesn't have to be like, I know where you're going. It doesn't have, but for people who are watching, it doesn't have to be like a shock or surprise thing. But not everything in a story has to have a purpose, but the big things kind of should have a big purpose leading up to it.
So
because it's kind of like a bad joke that you lead up to it and then you deliver your punchline, and it's just like, well, that doesn't make any sense, because the lead up was all over the place, and then you just said something random. So that doesn't make any sense.
So like, okay, so as an example, we know that like as an example of like a good lead up, right? We would have something like in Spider-Man 2, right? Where Spider-Man then like has to ask himself, why does he do what it does to like to be Spider-Man? We don't exactly like get the exact answer right away. We know that he's having like fairway love issues with Mary Jane, which is why he's losing his powers. But then once Mary Jane gets kidnapped, his powers then come back to him. As if like, okay, to tell the audience like his love for Mary Jane is and not only his love for Mary Jane, but his love for his family and for wanting like not only the best for himself, but for everybody that is around him is what like drives his powers. It's what allows him to be at his best, right?
Yeah.
So when we then get to the train scene, it's like he's holding it back because he doesn't want, like he does it because he knows he has to. We can believe that like he'll do everything he can to stop that train from crashing because, well, to say he'll save those people before he'll save himself, right? That's been pre-established in the story. So especially like with Mary Jane being kidnapped, then him like getting his powers back and everything too, right? It's like none of it. As soon as he started thinking for himself, his powers weren't working as well. But when he started thinking for others, his powers are working much better. So then we jump into a different scenario. So let's go to like to Star Wars here. Okay, so when we have no pre-established nature of, let's say, like we have no pre-established nature of Leia being able to use the power of like the Force, like from any of the other movies, other than the fact that like she can potentially like sense some things, but we don't get like she can sense some things, but like Luke could sense some things. He couldn't even use the Force until he was taught how to, right? So, and I'm not saying like she couldn't use the Force, but like we don't have any like indication like that she at least is aware that the Force is usable by her, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So
even all it would really take, because to be fair, the main argument for that would be, well, there was a huge gap in between episode 3 and 4.
Yeah.
Or sorry, 6 and 7. They could have even fucking set it up from get-go 1 of episode 7 if they really wanted to do that later on, is show that she has got some training either from Luke or somebody, or figure, hell, she like that. You could probably figure some things out in your own with the Force, if you're aware of it and everything. But like, you gotta explain that to people, because like you gotta, like, that's the thing is with movies, going back to what you said about like the setup, you have to kind of treat, you don't have to treat them too dumb, but you have to kind of treat your audience kind of dumb in a way, like, yeah, in the sense of you have to sort of explain things and stuff like that as if you are not the person thinking of the movie idea, you know, because it's easy to think of something in one's head and write it down and whatnot, and have maybe a buddy that's really close and has similar ideas than you. But like, there's 7 billion people on the planet. Everybody has different things going on. So you kind of have to set it up with the expectation that the audience don't know what's going on. And you have to kind of set it up as like, if this is how it was explained to me, as if they're dumb. But obviously, you know, you don't want to treat them too dumb either, because you don't want people coming out of the theater being insulted.
Yeah, like I think the best way to say it is like not really treat them as they're dumb, but treat it as if like you got to at least give them the puzzle pieces so that they can figure out, like, the puzzle pieces need to at least be there.
Especially for this, because you're like, you know, Disney's trying to bring in new fans and stuff, which is somewhat fine. And who knows, like, if somebody walks into Star Wars and has never seen another Star Wars movie before, how like, that's gonna be really fucking weird to them. Like, all of a sudden this person can fly in space, all of us is not dead. Like, what the fuck's going on here? You know,
what do you have you heard about this rumor that Rey is apparently going to lift up the Death Star from Return of the Jedi out of the sand, out of the sand of like this desert planet? Some people are saying people are claiming it's Jakku, that the planet from the first from Force Awakens, the planet that she was left on. I mean,
no, because I thought the name of the planet came out. It wasn't Jakku. It was like some weird other planet.
Could have swore it was Jakku, wasn't it? The planet that she was left on.
Yeah, Jakku's the one. Jakku's the one she was left on. Yeah.
I remember there was a sandy desert planet in Rogue One as well, where Saw Gerrera.
So a common thing you'll see in Star Wars: sandy desert planets. There's no wonder Anakin hates them so much.
I hate sand. It's rough and coarse.
Gets
It's
everywhere.
everywhere.
Pocket sand.
Anyway, I have to head on out myself, guys. But you guys continue the stream because it's sounding like a pretty good topic.
Yeah, we're about half an hour in, but you take care, Switch.
Yeah.
It was great.
Have a good
Yes,
one.
have a good one.
Yeah, you take care, man.
Peace.
Don't work too hard.
just as
I'll try
Jay,
not.
just as Jay gets here as well in the chat.
Well, I'm sure
That's
Jay
why
will
he's
try to
leaving.
behave.
Yeah,
I'm sure Jay will try to behave without me.
yeah.
That's why Switch is leaving. He's oh god, things now. Oh god, look at the time. No, I don't know. Like, I liked a few things in the new one. Like,
Last Jedi.
I liked the interaction with Luke and Yoda, and
Yeah.
Yoda saying like, "Oh, you still haven't learned. You're still the student and stuff." Even though he's learned and stuff, but there was no context behind that. We just got evil Luke trying to kill his nephew and grumpy old man Luke, but we didn't get that We didn't get that old Luke that's still like. It would have made more sense if he was still quick to judge, which he might have been with Rey, which would be a good way to do it.
Yeah.
He was very like eager to, which is funny because he's an exile on a planet, even though his character is a very eager to go kind of character. And yeah, you get old and you want to settle down and stuff, but like Luke was very hopeful. Luke was very like, I guess, I don't know, rash. Like, he would just, he worried more about his friends and family. Like, he didn't care if his training was incomplete. He just wanted to hop in an X-Wing and go save them, which was like a downfall. Like, it might sound heroic, but it was a downfall because he wasn't ready, and that's where he got his ass handed to him,
Yeah, he got his arm chopped off. Which is what
Yeah,
I felt that Rey should have had. It just seems like Disney are propping up like
she doesn't have. And that's the thing is, I thought about this and I was like, she doesn't have to get a limb chopped off if Disney doesn't want to do that kind of thing, and or if, like, I don't know, like, it might be
just
nice to have
singe your finger off or something.
It doesn't even have to be that. It could be a loss of a friend right in front of her, show her failure. It could be it could be some kind of failure in some sort. Like, it doesn't have to end in a death or injury. It could be some other way, but if you're creative enough to think of that, but in some way she has to fail, seriously fail. I don't mean, oh, she got her feelings hurt. Well,
she needs to have a learning moment, doesn't she, in her character arc?
Yeah, and
it can't just be I'm the best. Like, that doesn't make an interesting character.
I've heard people argue, oh, well, she saw Han Solo die in front of her. Like, well, that didn't fucking teach Luke when he lost Obi-Wan right in front of his eyes. Like, they were no more. She was no more connected to Han Solo than he was connected to
Uncle
Obi-Wan.
Ben. Well, he was. He referred to him as Uncle Ben, didn't he?
He probably met him a few times. No, he didn't. No, he didn't refer to him as Uncle Ben. He referred him to as Old Ben.
Old Ben.
Old Ben Kenobi. And then his uncle Owen said, oh, that's just a crazy old wizard. He's probably run into Obi-Wan a couple of times in the Haji Station or whatever, and I don't know, but
the throne fight scene, loads of waiting and pausing in that fight scene. You could see that Daisy and Adam Driver were late and a bit slow on their choreography, so the stuntmen had. You'll have to watch it again if you watch it on Corridor Crew's YouTube channel. They have a stuntman with them that dissects the fight scene, and you see some of them, like the stuntmen, they spin away towards the camera to wait for their turn to attack, because they're trying.
It was very, very orchestrated looking, like.
And
Rey and it's almost like Rey was an inside job kind of thing. Like, she knew what was going on the whole time, because
that bit where she blocks all three of their attack and then kicks one of them, it sends all three back. It's like, oh my god! Like, there was no force powers used except for the end where she throws her lightsaber and he activates it and it goes right through the Praetorian's head at the end. That was pretty cool.
So they, I didn't mind the ending where Luke was standing there. A lot of people hated it. I didn't mind when Luke was standing there and is being fired at. And
that was cool.
Right through him.
Yeah, that was
cool. A
a
lot of people complain about that. I have a complaint about it, but it doesn't really necessarily have to do with that exact scene, but more the setup for that, or Luke's character in general. So I liked that because, and this is somebody that had a counterpoint to me, and I actually said, you know what, that actually makes sense. You're right. Yep. And someone said that's one of the most Jedi things you can do because they're about peace and passive and stuff like that, you know?
Yeah.
And non-violence, which is something that the Jedi lost they lost it before their demise. They were in that big war and stuff, and they were very not passive in the Clone Wars and stuff like that. And Luke kind of brought it back in and was like, yeah, I'm just gonna come in and do the Jedi thing you could do and not fight, you know, let them blow off steam and stuff and show them you're not afraid, and that they get the hope in there, which is Luke. But before that, there was no setup to that.
There was a bit that pissed me off. You know, when he force projects and he's saying, but that's before you realise that he's a force projection.
Yeah.
And he's got short hair, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Which is weird. So he's saying hello to Leia, and then he just nods to C-3PO as he walks out the door. I'm like, this is your long lost friend who has been with you through the thick and thin of it.
Yeah.
For decades, and all you do is just a slight nod. And apparently, I heard that Mark Hamill, I think, actually said out loud. He was saying to Rian Johnson on the behind the scenes to say, he goes, "Oh, shouldn't I at least say something to C-3PO? You know, he's my long lost friend. You know, I feel like my character should, because there was nothing in the script, nothing in the script at all." And he goes, "Don't you think I should say something to C-3PO? He's my friend." And Rian Johnson just lost his patience and he went, "Oh, just do whatever the fuck you want then."
Yeah.
Like that. And so that was like Mark Hamill did like some kind of just improvised it, like he nodded. Like an acknowledgement nod towards C-3PO.
Without trying to piss off Rian Johnson.
Yeah, I'm like, oh geez, like what the hell?
I think I would have liked to see an actual fight with Luke though, like, and then maybe in between that have
And what was with the bullshit of him dying, like passing on as a force ghost after he dies? What, because of exhaustion of projecting himself across the galaxy?
Yeah, something like I don't know, he's old and I guess he just projected like crazy, and I guess it took a lot out of him. I don't know, but I think it would have been a lot cooler to see an actual physical fight with him earlier, and then him realize, this isn't really the Jedi way, and maybe I'm not the Jedi that I thought I was and stuff. And
I love that Kylo Ren treats General Hux like a bitch, just constantly bitch slapping him across the room against walls and stuff.
There was a lot of complaints about that because they didn't like how General Hux in episode 7 and 8 was kind of a throwaway character in the sense of like like he's just a comedic punching bag essentially.
Did people complain about the First Order being quite diverse because it had lots of people of color in there? Had lots of Asian, quite a few Asian people in the First Order.
Yeah, I think the biggest complaints about episode 8 were Luke, the General Hux,
and
Rey, and the casino planet, because it was kind of like a really political statement. It was a cool planet. It was a cool planet, and Star Wars can be political. Like, I'm not gonna lie, the first episode 4 to 6 it's very political,
But it's subtle, isn't it? I would say it's apolitical. I know that in Return of the Jedi with the Ewoks, I know that George Lucas was trying to make an allegory of the whole Forest Moon of Endor about like the Vietnam War.
Yeah,
I
that's
know that he
supposedly
was.
what it. But a lot of people are saying, and it kind of makes more sense that it was like just a way to sell toys, because apparently it was supposed to be Wookiees, but it
Yeah.
ended up being Ewoks because they look cute and sell toys and stuff, I guess. I don't know if that's true or not, but they sold a lot of toys, so I don't know if that counts for anything, but that's a thing.
But God knows how what are they gonna do with Rise of Skywalker? What are they?
There's a whole bunch of rumors now. I don't
like with the Emperor, the laugh at the Emperor at the end of the teaser trailer.
Yeah, it's hard to say at this moment because we have rumors, but like the rumors seem like they could go either way. They seem very far-fetched, but they also seem very possible at this point.
Like we know nothing about. Do you think Captain Phasma is going to return again?
I would have liked I would have liked to see Captain Phasma not be a Boba Fett ripoff.
Yeah.
I would have liked to see her actually do something really cool, and she didn't really get that chance in episode 8.
No, either. It's stupid that Disney.
Like she got she basically got like a slight meter advantage in the running race compared to Boba Fett.
Yeah.
In actual Star Wars, like the movies, not in lore books or TV shows or anything, but like in the movies, she got like a leg up on Boba Fett, but not much more. She got like an extra movie where she fell into a pit of fire.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, that fight scene was quite small, wasn't it? It was just like.
DJ was kind of an annoying. Was his name DJ? He was kind of an annoying character. I like the actor who plays him, but the character
DJ.
Was BJ or DJ or CJ or DJ. XYZJ. I don't know.
Who's that? I'm trying to think who you mean. Do you
mean
was
the
hacker?
He was the guy selling ships to each of the teams. Like he sold ships to the First Order and the whatchamacallits, Resistance.
Yeah. I can't think who.
Yeah, see, I don't think they could have based. This is an unpopular opinion, so just a fair warning. I don't think that they could have. I know a lot of people were disappointed right from the get-go. I think it's an unfair frustration. But a lot of people were disappointed from the get-go without even probably watching anything. That they weren't completely basing it on the books by Timothy Zahn, which were supposed to be 7, 8, 9.
Yeah.
Now, I'm okay with them not fully doing 7, 8, 9 from the books Heir to the Empire. Because that would be kind of boring. I love those books, just for the record. I really love those books. But I think then they would be competing with trying to live up to the first movies and the books at the same time.
Yeah.
And they would not even be able to probably keep up with one of them. So logically, it makes sense. Let's make episode 7, 8, 9 the way we make them.
How do you think they're going to finish it off? Like, what do you think is happening with that Emperor's laugh, like Emperor Palpatine?
Again, I don't know.
Couldn't
tell you. Because there's so many rumors, but we don't have any facts yet. We have the teaser trailer. That could be as simple as we want to try to get people to come see this movie that we've pissed off, so let's throw something familiar in. It could be anywhere from that all the way to fucking he's the mastermind behind the whole thing and he's not dead.
Yeah.
and anything in between. Time travel, which is a rumor.
Yeah, I was about to say, I heard that rumor.
There could be a clone, which is actually kind of possible and would make sense in Star Wars. Star Wars isn't really about other universes.
I don't think there's such thing as time travel in bloody Star Wars.
Well, we don't know. Like, there's so many untold stories because it's so vast, but we haven't been introduced to time travel, and I think as much as I don't hate time travel as much as other people. I think it's a valuable tool in science fiction, and it's one of the things that we have left in science fiction that's sort of science fiction, because a lot of other things in our world we've, like, they used to put, like, in science fiction they used to put, like, people talking on screens to each other. Well, that's not really science fiction anymore.
Yeah.
Because we do that. That's reality. But time travel is something that we have not experienced as a race yet. So we don't have any understanding of how it works yet. So it kind of can add... Like, we'd have some understanding, but even still, then it's all guesses because nobody's really time traveling. So I'm okay with time travel. For Star Wars, though, that was some of the charm of Star Wars, was that it was like one of the science fiction things that didn't have time travel. Star Trek had time travel. Yeah. Doctor Who had time travel. Bunch of other things had time travel. And Marvel had time travel. DC had time travel. Blah, blah, blah had time travel. Star Wars did not have time travel, and they did not, unless you include the fact, like, the expanded universe versus the movies or versus Disney canon, that could be kind of taken as an alternate universe kind of thing. But they've never crossed to other alternate universes that I know of in Star Wars, unless there was something in the expanded universe. So they've not done time travel, and they've not done cross-dimensional stuff, which is two big science fiction things that they've kind of not did and got away with it and did it well. And I would be ashamed for them to break that now, just to try to get people to come watch episode 9, because they desperately need people. And that's just going to mess people up more, and people are not going to like it.
Yeah. But, like I said, The Last Jedi was a meh movie. It was only made worse by Rian Johnson throwing a paddy and calling people that didn't like it misogynist, racist, sexists, and crying man babies, and riling up the divisiveness. I'm like, why? Just take the L, take the lose, and move on.
Well, what did he expect? He wanted it, like, it so looks, and I could be 100% wrong about this. I don't know. Maybe I'm right. I don't know. But it looks very suspicious, based on past interviews, based on what he was saying, based on the, like, he's really, really stupid, or he had the idea to divide people more.
Yeah.
Like, either he's just a completely stupid person, or he just wanted to see people cry, and he wanted to see people be hurt, and he wanted to see people, this team versus that team. And there's far more evidence that he's not a stupid person, but more so he wants to see, I don't know, he has some glorification or some kind of happiness and enjoyment out of watching others.
Oh, yeah, he definitely derives a sort of pleasure and enjoyment seeing the...
He seems like a very bitter person. Maybe he was a nerd, like I got picked on too, but maybe he just bound up that bitterness and wrapped it in a ball and said, well, fuck this, I'm just gonna treat people like shit. And somehow people think he's this great guy, and yet he's treated people like shit. And there's more evidence and facts that he doesn't seem like a nice guy. And yet people defend him and say he's a great friggin' guy.
He directed that movie Looper with Bruce Willis and Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
I happen to like that movie.
Yeah,
and I
that
know
was
a
a
lot of
cool
people
movie.
didn't.
That was a cool sci-fi movie.
It had flaws, but every movie has its things. But overall, I enjoyed the movie. It wasn't one of my top 100 favorite movies or whatever, but it was right up there. I really enjoyed it. You know?
Yeah, it was a cool concept, wasn't it?
It was really cool. Whether there was plot holes or not, sometimes I kind of ignore that because sometimes there's people out there that look over every movie and try to find like things wrong with every movie, and that's not me. Like, because I just don't have the time to, and I'd rather sit down and enjoy a movie.
Yeah.
And like, there's people that make that a hobby, just watch a movie till they find something that is wrong.
Yeah.
And I can honestly say it's kind of the opposite of what. So there's that YouTube video of Ryan Johnson saying, "Oh, if I can get a divide of people who love the movie and hate the movie, then I've done my job."
Yeah.
I'm paraphrasing, but something like that.
Hmm.
My thing is that I think that if you watch any movie, it's kind of almost a reverse, maybe, of what Ryan Johnson says in that, anyways. Is I think that no movie can be 100% good or 100% bad. If you think a movie is 100% bad or 100% good, I feel like that's a red flag for some kind of bias of some sort.
Hardcore Henry's a 10 out of 10. It's a perfect movie. Fight me if you disagree.
Go fuck yourself.
I fucking loved that movie. That was awesome.
I haven't seen it yet.
Have you not?
No.
It is just, it's literally like if you were to inject cocaine straight into your heart.
Oh fuck! I don't know. I don't know the feeling, but I don't know how well my anxiety would handle it, though. But
it's like a first-person shooter game come to life in a movie.
Even the movies, though, like my favorite movie of all time, I wouldn't even give a 10 out of 10. I wouldn't give something a 0 out of 10 either, though. Like, that's the thing is really, if I did a scale, when I do scales, things have to get a 1 out of 10 because there's got to be, again, like, I've seen some shitty ass movies that I've had to turn off because I'm like, and as I could not sit through Jack and Jill, by Adam Sandler.
Is that where he plays both the brother and sister? Isn't it?
I was like, I cannot watch this. So I turned it off, but I wouldn't give that a 0 out of 10.
Because I like. You should. Have you seen him in his new Netflix movie? Oh, bugger, what's it called? It's with
did a couple. The murder mystery.
Yeah, the murder mystery.
It wasn't original Adam Sandler quality level, but it was at least on par with when he started doing like Mr. Deeds and that kind of time period kind of thing. Like, he went pretty south for a while there, and I think anything is a plus. Like, even that movie with Chris Rock, The Week Of, it was okay. Like, it wasn't anything spectacular, but it was well, Mr. Deeds was a good movie, I guess, but it wasn't like Mr. Deeds wasn't as good as like Happy Gilmore, Billy Madison and stuff. And
that's it.
But like,
the movie was called Mystery. The Netflix one.
So yeah, like, it wasn't anything spectacular, but it wasn't anything bad. Like, it wasn't Jack and Jill quality. And it was pretty good. I guess he does movies now to go on vacation as an excuse to go on vacation or something.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously he probably works really hard when he's making the movie and stuff, but
did you ever watch his Western that he did that was also a Netflix one?
Yeah.
The Ridiculous Six, I think it was called.
Yeah, I couldn't really get into it.
Oh, that was so freaking funny, that was. And Taylor Lautner, I never liked him beforehand, but until I watched that. And Taylor Lautner is so freaking funny.
Yeah. what was I gonna say? Yeah, like I think like it's just I don't know. Like I want to go back and do my movie rating system because it just needs some work. That's the thing. Like with the ratings and stuff, is because it like I want to make sure that I'm getting like nothing's gonna be 100% accurate or whatever, but I want to make sure that I'm giving people a good honest uh, opinion of movies that I watch, and it takes time. That's the thing. Um, you know, I've watched tons of movies, and if I sat down and talked to somebody, I could say, "Yeah, this is a good movie," or "This isn't a good movie," or whatnot, or like it was okay, but um, that's just my personal opinion. You know,
Yeah.
I want to make sure that I take as much personal opinion out of it as possible, but still keep some in it. So that's why when I developed my rating system, I added a point for my own personal opinion. So I could give it a point if I liked the movie, I could give it a point, and if I didn't like the movie, I didn't have to give it that point. So, and at one point may send it up over the halfway mark, or might if it doesn't get that point, may send it under that like that halfway mark. So I think it's good if you're gonna do a rating of a movie to do something like that.
Yeah.
Something that your opinion doesn't make or break it, but can kind of boost it or not boost it, kind of thing. Um, and one point was for popularity, I guess. I'd go to different sites and I'd go to different if I saw any sort of talk about it or something like that, it would add to that was kind of an amalgamation of what other people thought of the movie kind of thing. And so it would if it got over 50%, it would get that point. So it could have really bad editing, really bad camera work, really bad writing, really bad other things, and if it was popular, which probably wouldn't be if it wasn't meeting all those other things, it would at least get 1 point. If I liked it and it wasn't popular enough, at least get 1 point, you know?
Yeah.
However, like I guess in that system you could get a 0. And but the point is that like I don't know, like Ryan Johnson seems like he just wants to divide people. It's not about making a movie that is not going to be perfect, but not going to be not like terrible either. He just wanted to make. It seems like he just wanted to make a movie that divided people and he kind of shove in people's faces and call them a crybaby because they didn't like what he did. Like it almost like it was an excuse to be able to call them crybaby because it's almost like how do you treat Luke Skywalker like that with so many fans and not think that something reaction's gonna happen, like unless you live under a rock. I don't know.
God knows how the next movie's gonna wrap everything up.
Yeah, I'm kind of waiting to see more. Like so far, we only have a teaser trailer, and it's got some crazy stuff going on that I don't really necessarily like.
Did you see the video on YouTube? You probably saw it on Twitter and social media of that guy reacting to the trailer.
No.
Have you never seen it? Oh my god! I showed my wife after we watched Last Jedi. I said right because she'd held off watching the teaser. She didn't obviously because that didn't want to spoil anything from the Last Jedi.
If it's Matthew McConaughey in a spaceship from friggin' Interstellar, I'm going to punch you. No, just joking. Did you ever see those reaction videos though with Matthew McConaughey from Interstellar, where I guess he was watching his forget Interstellar because it's been a while since I saw it. But he's watching his daughter's son or something, he's kind of reacting to the screen, but you don't really see the screen much. But then people cut to other trailers, so it's him reacting to other trailers. It's hilarious. Yeah.
Where's what's the name? Where's Together? Oh, Watch Together, isn't it? It's called. Bloody figure! It was taking me to some insurance company called what? Right, I'll. This is a funny reaction, right?
You're a funny reaction.
For some reason it's got bloody funny pandas. Bloody was playing, then it just started playing the audio for about a couple of seconds over this panda chowing down on some bamboo. How do you put it? Oh, yeah, that's what you put it there.
Hey everybody, welcome to a very
Right. So we're coming up. We'll finish up the show by just quickly watching this trailer reaction. So I'll just pop this in there. Let's see if I can get it up to the. This guy was memed to hell, right? So tell me when you're on it. I'll have to bring this up on the screen as well for people to watch.
Yeah, I'm on there.
You're on it?
Yeah.
So this guy. So Are you watching it?
Yeah.
Oh, you are watching it, yeah. I was just checking. Right, what was that, like 5-10 seconds in, just a blank screen and her with heavy breathing, and he straight away was jizzing in his pants practically. That heavy breathing.
Passed on all we know.
Ooh.
1,000 generations live in you now.
Oh.
But this is your fight.
Yes, it is. We must see it through the tears. Oh, it's gorgeous.
It's just a desert, mate.
Oh, what's your Kylo?
This bit is cool.
No fucking way.
It's cool to see Lando come, isn't it, back there?
Yeah.
We'll always be with you.
On the part of the Death Star.
No one's ever really gone.
What? No, the Emperor. Skywalker. Oh. Yes.
My God. My wife, Gemma, was absolutely and physically repulsed by that. She went, "Oh God, if he gets that upset over something like that,
A teaser
like a teaser trailer of a movie, like God knows, like how does he react to like his like firstborn being born, or anything else like that? Like, it's cool being a fanboy. Like, if you get excited, like, oh my god, this is really cool, yeah. But like, to be brought to tears and like, heavy breathing, like the trailer was in, he was going, oh my god.
Yeah, I was a fan of Star Wars, and I guess I am for the time being. But like, it just sucks how they've treated fans. And
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, there's some people that like the new things and stuff like that, but it's just like, I don't understand how there's no compassion or sensitivity towards people who wanted a good ending for their beloved characters. Like,
Yeah.
it's not that a lot of people were upset that their characters are getting killed off, because I mean, let's face it, the actors are getting older, and one has passed away since, and they can't go on forever this way. Anyways, comics maybe different story, TV show maybe different story, or like cartoon or whatever, but live action wise, they can only do so much.
Yeah.
And it would have been nice to have really good send offs. And I know there's people out there that is just like, what do you mean it was a good send off? And I don't know, like, and then there's people out there who are too negative the other way. Like, we're getting polar opposites, and it's like, well, why couldn't just they have, I don't know, given, like, and you look at proper send offs, you think that they're gonna do something really cool before the end of it. And you know, just the way they treat Luke. Like, we wanted to see him in once more because we haven't seen him in a long time. And then the first movie, we get to see him take his hood down.
Yeah.
And then the second one, we get to see him be a cranky old man for a bit. We get to see how bad he is because he almost killed his nephew. And then we get to see him do something that is very Jedi-like, but, at the very, very end.
Yeah.
I don't see why they couldn't still push their agenda, which is fine, and still have given a proper send off to really cool characters that people love and adore and stuff. And I don't necessarily all blame Disney as people. I think that they just need. Oh, it's just so hard these days, though, because Hollywood has always been sort of a popularity contest, and people want to try to get in and do something with the rest of the herd and stuff like that. So you're not going to have somebody who does really cool movie because they're going to be trying to figure out how cool they can look to all the other Hollywood people by fitting into somebody's the popular agenda or whatever. And really, they just need better people behind movies. Like, I've been saying this, is that it's that they shouldn't stop doing these movies. They just need people who give a shit.
Yeah, people with actual creative passion
that can give people what they want, and still, like, I'm not even talking everything to the old fans. Give some new things too. Make more inclusion and stuff like that. Get more diversity in it. But make these characters good, for heaven's sake. Like, we're seeing, I don't know how much rumor or true this is, but we're seeing even, like, Daisy Ridley coming out and being like, yeah, I can understand why fans are upset.
Yeah.
And we see John Boyega, he's saying, like, well, I can't say anything. I'm not going to say anything till the end of episode 9, but apparently he's not. That's what he said, and then I guess he's saying he's not happy with things. And I'm like, you know what? That's true. They set up this character Finn, and like, what does he really do? It feels like they wanted to check it off their list, but they didn't want to actually write a really cool thing for them, and then meanwhile we have people who just eat it out of hand without any sort of thought or whatever. And Switch shared something with me one time where it was a video on YouTube where it was like this guy who's like eat, consume, get excited, move on for next consume thing.
Yeah.
And it's true. Like, you can't have any critical objections anymore, or like you're negative. And it's like, well, I get it, because on the other side, on the flip side, I'm seeing so many people negative about everything too, like it's almost like you can guess some people who are negative, they're not gonna like the next thing no matter what. It could be the best movie in the world, and they're just gonna say it's the most complete crap ever. And like, people in the flat pack are generally sort of in the middle or whatever, where things can have some good things and some bad things, and we can critique them and stuff like that. But like, yeah, I'm seeing polar opposites these days, and it's been on this way for a while. Like, I have certain friends I can go to, and they're like, oh, did you see the new whatever nerd movie? And I'll be like, yeah. Oh, what'd you think? Oh, I thought it was okay. I really like this part. I like that part. I didn't like this part. Why do you hate the movie? Oh, I don't hate the movie. And then I go to some other friends, and I'm like, they're like, oh, how would you think of it? Oh, it was okay. It had some things I liked and some things I didn't like. And then they go, oh, how dare you like that? That movie was crap. The whole thing was crap. How could you like even one thing about that movie?
Yeah.
And it's just like polar opposites and extremes and stuff,
Yeah. It's like everything is just used as ammunition in the culture war, isn't it? And
yeah. And then you get the people who, like me, I just want more, and I just want more Star Wars. I want more comics. I want more superheroes. I want more of the things I love. And it's like it's going down the drain because either one side wants it completely changed to something completely different and seems to want to justify it as being the same, even though it's completely different. And then when you say it's different, they want to say, oh, well, it's not different, you're different, maybe, or maybe the times change and stuff like that, and maybe it wasn't it was time to update it a bit. And I'm like, this isn't updating it a bit, they're completely changing the core skeleton system of what this is. And then on the other hand, you get the other people that are just like, yeah, just let it die. And it's like, well, that's not any good either, because like, I kind of like this, I kind of like this franchise thing. And you talk to them about saying, well, let's make our own thing then. Let's sort of jump off this. If it's not good and it's not worth saving, then let's jump off this bandwagon and jump on another one and create our own things again, so that we can enjoy something that the way it's meant to be enjoyed. Obviously, you can't create the same thing because of copyright, but you can create other new things. And in the meantime, like, not enough small people are getting supported. And on the other hand, nobody seems to want to jump on that bandwagon. People just want to go to the bad movie, complain about it, and tell other people not to do it, even though they've already spent the month. So they'll go spend $10 or $15 or whatever it is in pounds or yen or whatever, and they'll go to it with full intentions of seeing it so that they can go back to video streaming thing, complain about it, and tell other people not to watch it. But they don't realize that there's like a whole bunch of people like doing the same thing, and this movie that they don't like is getting money. So the thing they're saying this movie's bad, they're spending the money just to say it's bad. So it's really kind of a win for the thing they think is bad.
Yeah.
You know, like I didn't go to Spider-Man: Homecoming because I'm not interested in seeing it.
Do you mean Far From Home? Do you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll probably see it when it comes out in video. Maybe I'll rent it for $5 or something on something and watch it, but I don't really want to give it a whole lot of money until like that's the crap thing, like even with mainstream stuff or with things, is that like unfortunately it's backwards, in the sense that I'd rather see something and think, wow, this is really good or really bad, and give them money based on that.
Yeah.
It's tough because you can't really go into like, because then you're going to get people who are going to be like, well, I don't want to pay $5, so I'll just give it nothing. Or I don't want to spend money, so I'll just watch it for free and give nothing.
Yeah.
But I think we need a better system of being able to support things after the fact. Like, yes, still an upfront cost, but give it more money if it's something that actually turned out really well. So, like, for example, go to the movies, costs $5 to get in, let's say. I know that's severely underpriced for this part, but see it and then say, yeah, that was a really good movie. Here's like, I'm going to give you an extra $100 because I really want you to make another one.
Yeah. I mean, we're up to about the hour and 15 mark.
Yeah.
So any sort of last words? Sort of wrap up?
Same thing as always. Be the change you want to see. Get out there, create. If you want something different, if you're not happy with the way things are, go out and create and be the change you want to see. It's hard work, but put the hard work in and
stick with it.
Stick with it. Yes.
Again, sort of, I agree with Nerd Waffle on that. Be the change you want. Again, sorry we couldn't get not Liv Gleason on with his Not Daredevil comic. I mean, we spoke about it sort of at the beginning of the show. So I'm looking forward to it, like sort of checking this out with this sort of satirical take on sort of changing things up on this sort of old golden age comic. Hopefully we'll get him on some other time. We've got Dean Kish. People may remember that name. That was our first, I think it was our first comic creator guest that we had on the Flat Pack,
comic creator. I think we may have had a couple people like Spike and stuff on before that. But...
Yeah, but Dean Kish created Tainted, which was about the girl who at high school her boyfriend dies in an accident, isn't it? The buses get caught in a storm and the boyfriend dies. She then starts when she's sort of in her mourning period, she starts noticing some people look sort of different, and they're part of this age-old millennial cult. Millennium.
Yeah, we won't spoil it too much.
But we're having him on next week for his Kickstarter for issue 2 of Tainted. So really looking forward to that and sort of hearing about his success of issue 1 that went really well on Kickstarter. But we always say to all of our past guests that we've had on, are always welcome to come back and return, to come on again. Yeah, we're always looking forward to having guests on. So yeah, with that, it's been the Flat Pack Show. I've been Flatmeister, and it's been Nerd Waffle.
Keep it toasty.
It was Switchpoint as well, but he went earlier. Crumple Point couldn't be with us again. But yeah, we'll catch you in the next episode. Take it easy, everyone. Bye.
Tootles.
Tootles.